French Revolution at the end of the 18th century was rather famous for its euphoria about a so-called newfound revolutionary liberty. The French philosophers who essentially drove the ideology behind the French Revolution promised this new liberty to the French people. But what did they get? Well, history testifies anything but. In fact, they got death, they got the guillotine, they got massacres, and they got complete socio-political and socio-economic collapse. So much so that within 15 years of the revolution, Napoleon rose to the forefront as a dictator to try and, clear up the mess made by the revolutionaries. It's ironic that in promising liberty, the French revolutionaries essentially gave the French people slavery. It's very much the same with the modern liberal cultural Marxist idea of diversity. Diversity has become a very hip word in our 21st century Western context. All the leftists rage on about the need for increased diversity. Even the Big Eva, the church, they kind of cast diversity as this gospel imperative. Our churches need to be diverse. Our families need to be diverse to reflect the diversity of Christ's bride, of the church. But there's a similar irony towards this drive, towards this idea of diversity. And that is that it leads to anything but behind the rhetoric, behind the nice sounding words, there is an amalgamationist drive and an imperialist drive to monotonize all of humanity, to make everyone the same, to either make everyone an American, to make everyone a citizen of the global village. Behind all the rhetoric and all the calls for diversity, there is a hatred of diversity. And I saw a similar thing over the past few months, but over the past week especially. The Pakistan Institute, one of the main elements of our vision is to promote the idea of ethnic complementarianism. Now, ethnic complementarianism is known under a number of different names. Familialism, kinism. I prefer the term ethnic complementarianism because it is so descriptive of the fact that we embrace the diversity of God's creation and redemption. In Christ, grace does not destroy nature, it redeems nature. And Christ's church is beautifully diverse, just as his creation is. And Christ's bride, the church universal, consists of a wide variety of different cultures, races, peoples, families, and individuals. And Pakistan embraces this diversity, and we cherish this diversity. And because we do this, over the past week we've been under a tremendous assault from people who actually hate this diversity. People who want to destroy this diversity by making everyone the same, by forcing ethnic and racial amalgamation upon everyone, thereby destroying the different nations, ethnicities, cultures, and races. Because the only way to preserve this diversity is to respect this diversity, and more importantly, to respect this diversity when we select marriage partners in our families, because the children we have is a reflection of our ethnic and racial identity and heritage. So there's, of course, the left is going to hate this. And sadly, guys like Doug Wilson has picked up and embraced this rhetoric, in my opinion, to his own detriment, because a lot of the younger guys, younger men in the broader reformed world are starting to see through all of the cultural Marxist propaganda that we've been bombarded with since the Second World War, at least. So yeah, and then of course this weekend there was attacks on my publisher, at least the publisher of my first book, Reformation Zion Publishing, and their director and owner, Pastor Zachary Garris. Thankfully, it seemed that these attacks were mostly coming from absolute nutcases, extreme leftists within the PCA who embrace, the most radical sexual degeneracies and believe pastors in the PCA should be able to do the same. So thankfully, they don't, it's not the type of people whose opinions you can really take seriously. But, I thought I'd put out this video just to say that, at the end of the day, it is the ethnic complementarian position which embraces diversity, respects diversity, cherishes diversity, and wants to preserve diversity in accordance with God's design. Our opponents are the ones who hate diversity and hate the creator of this diversity. Have a nice day, everyone.